Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Artist to Artist. What I like to say is a conversation that needs to be had. Today, I have a very, very, very special guest. Very excited to have this conversation with none other than Kevin Liles.
My Gizzy.
How you feeling, big bro?
I'm good, man. I was figuring, I said, like, Jim called me about Artist to Artist. I said, he want me to talk about when I was an artist? Or I'm trying to figure out. I ain't rapped since 86. But I figured it's going to be friend to friend.
Yeah, friend to friend.
Businessman to businessman. I'm so, one day I want to yell at you. The next day I'm proud of you. And then I want you to be the most amazing father and husband and friends. So when you're real friends, you go through all those emotions. You know what I mean? I'm sure if you see me do some stuff, Kev. I'm sure you see you check me on it. And I just wanted to start this by saying that there's very few people that value their journey. Most people looking for a quick fix. Most people wondering why they don't have it, why this, and then that's never looked at you like that. And so I appreciate you for the journey. You know, we done buried a lot of our guys.
Yeah.
And you know, me just coming off the D'Angelo thing. I just, you know, let's just give each other flowers while we're here. And that's one thing. Every interview, every time somebody jump in, yo, Jim loves you, blah blah this. So I want to tell the whole world, I want to make sure you're very clear. I love you, my brother.
No, I love you. I love you back, Kev. I don't know how, well, for me, you're a very special person to me. And before we get into, I'll just say this. I came to Kevin one day to get a deal, and he gave me a job. He didn't just give me a job. He gave me the most powerful position at Warner Music Group. Only person that was above me was Kevin and Lior. I have so much gratitude for what you did for me. I'm forever indebted for you because you took a chance that no one else would because they didn't have the vision. Mm-hmm. They didn't see what I could bring to the game. Mm-hmm. And you did. You saw that. The rapping is one thing, but you never talked to me as a rapper. You never even entertained a conversation with me as a rapper, but you always gave me the utmost respect when it came to handling business. Yeah. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Bless you.
Do you remember the first time that we met?
Come on, Jim. Shit. I missed 20-something years ago. So the problem is we'd have been in rooms, but met. Shit, I remember we had a little thing down in Florida at the boat.
Yes. It was Florida or San Diego.
San Diego. But that's the first time we met?
That was the first time we met.
No, Jim.
Yes.
Jim.
Remember, you just that was when you got your promotion to vice president, if you don't remember that. Mm-hmm. You got the promotion of vice president in San Diego, and that was the whole big thing.
Yeah.
And we were still on, I don't think we was at Def Jam.
No.
We were on Sony at the time.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
I remember that night clearly.
Something went on with one of those rappers. We were young doing...
We just had a misunderstanding. That's all.
Doing dirty young things that we usually do in the hood. But Kevin definitely came in and saved the day from any incidents or any type of violence happening. And that was the first time that I got to meet you. And since then, we have crossed paths in so many ways. And then after that, the next time I got to meet you was when we signed to Rockefeller with Cam, did his first deal. Mm-hmm. And through that, we forged a great relationship. And I don't know if you remember the day that you had a marketing meeting about the Diplomats. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody understood who the Diplomats was. And I busted in the marketing meeting. I had my own little marketing strategy that I handed out to everybody and explained to them who we was. And you had somebody come downstairs and get me or come upstairs and get me and bring me back downstairs to your office. And then you offer me a job. Not a job, but once a month. What do you call that when you pay
Consultant.
you? Offer me a consultant job.
Yeah.
Consultant fee. It's like, I want to pay you $10,000 a month just for your smartness in your ear. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? But these lessons are the things that I needed to ensure me on my journey of my creativity, because I didn't do the rapping when I first got there. I did everything but the rapping. I don't think people understand that at all. And when I met you, rapping wasn't on my mind.
Right.
Trying to make some money and getting as much money as the people that I was next to was on my mind. And I don't know if you saw that, but you saw the opportunities. And I, once again, want to say thank you.
Now, I saw the thing that I try to do is when you're around somebody that can contribute, you want them in the room. So it wasn't an idea. The idea was you. It wasn't the idea that you had. The idea was that I know he gonna bump into something. I know he was somewhere that I couldn't be. I know that he knows something that I don't know. And every great leader surrounds himself with great people. Every great CEO has a great CFO, a great consigliere, a great operations person. And I just felt that where I was in my life, that was necessary. And I can be honest with you, most people want that light. They want to be the guy. You know what I mean? You had something more than that. You know what I mean? It wasn't about just being in it. You wanted to be it. And that's something that's everybody don't have that. You know what I mean? That's why I've been able to do since I was 16. I've been in this business, because if whatever position I have to play, I'm a play. But at the end of the day, you know, if you look at me, I'm gonna get the job done. And I always felt like it wasn't how can I say, vanity to me. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was saying, yo, I need you to make me cool, or I need you. I'm in the street too. You know, we all hanging, we good. You know, so it was more so like I felt a certain energy that was necessary. You know, because remember, we were everything. Then we became the support of everything with Rock, Murder Inc., Rough Riders, and everything. And then at that point, we Harvard, so we the institution now. So when you the institution, you gotta go back and say, well, I remember that young professor. He need to come, and I need to give him the rock. It was all the prefaces of all those decisions. You know what I'm saying?
And it's not just me. You've done that for hundreds of people.
Yeah, I know.
You've
but we here with you.
built companies, sold companies. Like, I want people to understand what type of person you are. Mm-hmm. Like, you've done things that you do not have to do at all. Mm-hmm. Your position has been solidified for a long time. Your job has nothing to do with the things that you've done philanthropy-wise. Like, the amount of things that you give back to people, I don't think it's highlighted enough. And the lives that you have changed in this game, I don't think it's highlighted enough and shit like that. So this is what this platform is here for, is to highlight things that these people would not make go viral. These
Right.
people would not make the coolest thing to talk about because they couldn't understand how important these things are. But I sat back and watched you help shape the game from my past 25 years from knowing you. And for you to be a black man in the midst of an eclectic game, I'll say that, and rise to the top of every building that you sat in, has to be taught in schools, curriculums, needs to be put in textbooks, because it don't happen. Not only did you rise to the top, you started really at the bottom position. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like an intern or something that you started as?
Yeah. My first thing in music was an artist, and like I bumped into that because me and my man got into a little beef, and it was all crew. So they said, yo, y'all both, you know, we're gonna start a group, and y'all both should be the rappers. Y'all should like do Run DMC shit. So that's how I got into the game. And I always remember that I wanted to be, you couldn't tell me that Run DMC wasn't me. You couldn't tell me that LL wasn't me. Like these were like people, and because I was like hot in the Mid-Atlantic, DC, Virginia, Baltimore, Philly, North Carolina, anytime an artist came through, I would open up for them. So just imagine the story. We had 4604 on Liberty Heights in Gwinnett. I'm opening up for LL Cool J. This is before I'm an intern at Def Jam. So I'm opening up for LL, opening up for Salt and Pepper, opening up for Run DMC, opening up for Raw Bass, opening up for...
I never knew none of this.
I'm giving you the real deal. So we're in 4604, and we just went off whatever. So Todd's upstairs, LL upstairs, and he about to go on. And so my crew, somebody say something wrong, my crew, guns start going off. So me and Todd upstairs. And I'm just thinking to myself, here I am, an artist, my city, and I fuck up LL Cool J performing on the block. You know what I mean? I didn't fuck it up, but you know.
It was related. It's all the same circle.
Yeah, same circle. So I always like felt like, God, why you put me in these situations? You know, why I'm always half and half. You know what I mean? Because I'm never going to not touch that. You know what I mean? Because that's just who I am. But I'm also don't want to fuck it up. And it was that moment that happened. I said, I want to really look at my circle, really look at what I really want to do. And fast forward, when I decided to be in the business of music, the company where I opened up for 4 or 5 of the artists, I became the intern for. And so I imagine, I'm an intern, they come into the city, yo, when you were younger, did you used to open up for me? Yes. I said, yo, I'm not really but it was a connect right there because they knew I'm going to treat them like I want to be treated because I know what it is to be treated like an artist. And I remember when Rev Run was coming and he had decided to be a pastor. Now, I'm just giving you stuff like I'm only going to talk to you about, he decided to be a pastor. I went to my pastor at that time and got a Bible, got my pastor to sign it, and I engraved it to Rev Run, and I gave him. My first gift to Run was a Bible. You know what I mean? That to me, because I always go put God first, and he knew who I was, and just think, what was it, Fresh Fest, all that stuff, man. I was opening up for, and they may not know what this is, but this was the first Rolling Loud.
you see what you said that doing what Rev Run was about to be a pastor, and you brought him a Bible. So there's a difference between people buying you gifts and people buying you mindful gifts. That is very mindful. It means you're very observant of what a person would need as opposed to what a person would want. Yeah. You know what I mean? As like, and these are some of the traits that have you in this space right now. Like that, I believe. Like you're like damn near like an angel for me and shit like that. But getting in this game with the executives that you admired to make you want to be who you are.
I remember.
Help you.
I'm gonna give you the real. So, I was going to school for electrical engineering. I was on scholarship at Morgan State, and I remember right before that, I saw Russell sitting on a Rolls Royce in an HBCU thing, and it said the $40 million rap mogul. I said, we can do that. My whole life, I played football, but I never thought I could make a jersey. I never thought I could make a helmet. I never thought I could make a football. I never thought about owning and being that. That was the first time I saw it. It made me look at things differently. And then I went back and looked at, not just listen to Motown records, but study Berry Gordy. And that wasn't enough for me because I wanted to, they had this guy called Jack Welch who ran General Electric. And I wanted to study guys who ran Fortune 500 companies. You know, I'm a quasi cool nerd. You know what I mean? Like I just want to make sure I'm taking it in because I know God was going to give me the opportunity one day. So get my organizational skills, still have the entrepreneurship, but knew that execution was key. So when I was an intern, I remember they said, Kev, were you're an intern? I said, no, I'm the president of interns. When they gave me the regional job, I said, I'm the president of the Mid-Atlantic region because I wanted to own that shit to the point. And most people take jobs to pay their bills or do something they like. No, I wanted to own. If it was happened good, it was my responsibility. If it happened bad, it was my responsibility because I took ownership in it. They didn't have to give me a piece of Def Jam. I owned a piece of Def Jam in my mind. But, you know, eventually through success and through me taking on that responsibility, it gave me that opportunity. So the advice that I say starting as an artist was a step up for me. Be willing to, I was even able to get money, be willing to intern was a step up for me. And until this day, you know, I get down with you. If you say, Kev, I need you to help me move this couch, I'm moving the couch. I don't even like look at it like anything but being of service. And as soon as you think that you're bigger than the service that you provide is when you fuck up and you end up in a space where you don't even know who you are because if you're feeding off other people, they don't know who you are. So just imagine me doing some of the things these other kids do. You know, you wouldn't even think that I would even think, and I don't even think about it. You personally brought me out of hibernation. You know me. I took this last year to look at everything and come up with the philosophy of what the next 40 years is going to look like, and I couldn't do that if I didn't study the greats, and even outside of music, I studied everything, and so and that's my engineering kind of thing in me where I got to that.
No, shit, you're a hell of an engineer. I wish I had time to step back and kind of recalibrate a few things, but I don't. But I am blessed that I have a God that's been guiding me through all the trials and tribulations and making sure I don't go down the roads that I used to go down too willingly. So I'm in a great space right now when it comes to where I've been and where I'm at. I feel like the devil's always working. My God is a little bit iller than he is. Mm-hmm. So
let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Not to. I wake up every day to be a better human being, better father, better son. My mom's still here. A better friend, better leader. When you wake up, and it's one thing to hustle, but we're older now, mm-hmm. And we have to look at how that affects everything around us. And one of the things that made me, that's on my heart to say to you, is that you cannot control what happens to you, but you can control your reaction to it. I want you to work on that. That's as your brother. Mm-hmm. Because we can't control the shit that.
No.
So both of us, we got shit that happened to us. Mm-hmm. But how we react, because people watching, yo. And by the way, you never know that kid that understand who you are, that doesn't look at you as, oh, that's Jim Jones. Blah, blah. No, he really looks at you like, yo, I really want to be like him. And so our reaction is very important. And the last thing I'll leave there is, we both have kids, you know what I mean? I don't want to embarrass them. I want to inspire them. They, my oldest think I don't know. Think it's, Dad, it's not like that no more. See, I can go and show you it is like that. It's just a different time. We owe it to ourselves to pivot, evolve, understand where we are in our life, and you're a hustler, so it's never ending. And so when you walk me around the building, I told you, I couldn't tell you if the color right or if the couch is right. That's not what I do. But I can say the vision's right. I can say I see what you're trying to do. And that conversation I look forward to having even more. So personal evolution, business, evolution. And the last thing I'll say is about God. A lot of people pray to him for things that they want, or pray to him when they get hurt. I pray to him when I wake up, because it's another day to go get it. However I'm going to get it, it's another day to go get it. And so we can get back to the interview, but that was on my heart. I had to say it.
I need that. This is what it's about. It's not an interview. But I am a God-fearing man, and I don't just wake up and pray. I pray all day. I pray that he helps me with the strength to handle the problems that come in front of me. I pray he gives me the resilience to stay cool and when times are rocky. Everything you talked about, I'm a work in progress. And I grew up very aggressive. We all know that. And the one thing that I've learned was to stop saying people trying to trick me out of my position when I'm the only one that could trick me out of my position.
Amen. Amen.
And that bit of advice that I've taken internally has been one of the greatest things for me. I'm not perfect.
Nobody is.
Some days I can't, you know what I mean? But every day I do wish to do better, be a better example for my son. Like, he's the reason why I go so hard. And the embarrassment thing, I know that I've embarrassed him and my family in a lot of situations through me hustling in the game, and you know how it goes and shit like that. But now where I'm at now, getting older, I look at things a lot bit different. You know what I mean? Like, so moving forward, I'm just working on me. Working on being better every day. You know what I mean? And if yesterday was a bad day, I'm trying to be a little bit better this day. I got employees, I got businesses, I got a great life, I got family that loves me, and I got people that are looking at me. And not to say that I'm here to be somebody's role model, but I do want people to admire the things that I've done and the things that I'm trying to do and shit like that. So, and here's why I really wanted to speak to you and shit like that, because I know that above all, you're one of the people that watches everything. You don't say much.
Well, you know, you listen. You know, I might not call you, but trust me, I can tell you every the people I really love and care about, and I just think my peripheral vision allows me to observe and not even react until I'm in a position that, you know, I can say, you know, something. And you know me, I might say the harshest shit to you, but it's coming from a place of a better you. It don't even, man, this is why, like, you know, I can walk, I don't care who beefing, who doing whatever. They know me, I'm Switzerland. It's like I want everybody to be good. I want everybody to feed their family. I want everybody to employ other people. I want people to change their communities. You cannot do that by reacting in a way that will fuck that up. It just doesn't happen. And I tell you, there's more good that comes out of where we going than what we did. It's just more. And I really, every time I think, Jim, when we sold Def Jam, we sold it for 150. So I'm thinking that's the world. Take Warner Music Group private and public, decide to do 300 again, in 8 years sell it for 400. I said, is this piss possible? So you know what I'm looking for now. You know where I'm going at. I'm going, because now I know it's possible. But I'm still using that intern mentality, like just continue to be of service. And there's not an artist. You know, we celebrated 25 years of Disturbing the Peace.
Wow.
2 or 3 weeks ago. Jim, 25, Jim, did you, okay, you my guy. Do you think that Ludacris started Disturbing the Peace 25 years? Put that in perspective. Music Soul Child hit me and said, yo, it's 25 years of my first album I just want to say. Yo, so I'm starting to feel like, y'all trying to make me sound like I've been around. But then I said, oh, you have, Kev. You have, because, oh, God forbid, we talk about Todd and talk about Run DMC, talk about EP, and we'll go down the list. But I also can celebrate Gunna's success, YSL success, you know, Meg success, go down to T Grizzly, go down the list of these things that, and I can't tell you why other than him. God gave me such a great gift to just understand that being of service will be the answer to whatever. Somebody say something crazy, I look at her and say, how can I be of service? I'm giving you my secret, because the B-more in me want to react a different way. But I say, how can I be of service? And then I realized that was noise. That was the devil. Don't react. Now, if I really feel a certain way, I'm going to call you. I'm going to come see you. I'm going to make sure we have a real conversation, but I'm always going to be of service, man. And that has saved me from so many things in my life. And so that's my 2 cents on that.
No, let's talk about some business. So do you think that the independence of the artist today has interrupted the way major labels run?
Okay, we can look at that a lot of different ways. So let me give you my thought. So everybody's talking about following the algorithm. You know, we was having that conversation. What they don't realize, when we started hip hop, we were the algorithm. We disrupted everything. Now we became the most powerful music, most engaged music around the world. And what we don't realize is that the 20-year-old college kid that's now 50-year-old that's raising a white son, his kid grew up on all the stuff that was there. So we're more powerful than we've ever been. Now, when you're in that spot, Jim, you know what will come at you. All kinds of dumb shit. You know, and they got, oh, you're too powerful, we got to get rid of you. So now, just like when in early, you remember this, remember everybody wanted to make a record to get on the radio. So everything sounded like that. Take it back to Kodak. Kodak used to make film, and film that was their bread and butter. And they said, well, this shit might be digitized soon, so let's start a digital thing. But the money, where they're getting all the money, it was in the film. So they got disrupted. NBC, ABC, CBS, they said, we're selling toilet paper, so we can't say nothing crazy. Oh shit, here comes HBO, Sopranos, The Wire, so cable comes and disrupt them. And I think what has happened to artists is that they've grown up listening to playlists. When I heard Dipset, I listened to that motherfucker 100 times. Now artists is putting on playlists. So they listening to music. And when they listen to music, then they realize that, oh, I gotta hit the algorithm. I gotta do this, or I gotta say this. And so now they play into the algorithm instead of playing to their authenticity. So I'll give you when hip hop was in Bronx, Queens, Harlem, wherever you want to say it was, you had 4th and Broadway, you had Sugar Hill Records, you had, what's my other thing, Profile, but nobody put a cultural lens around the culture. Russell and Rick did that, and they called it Def Jam, and it wasn't just around music. Fashion, gaming, comedy, poetry. So then streaming comes. And so I'm looking at it the same way Leo calls me and say, yo, it's time for us to do it again. I'm like, I got a big management company. You remember KW, all that? He said, no, but we need to do it. I need you to be in. So we put a cultural lens around streaming, 300. Oh shit, Fetty Wap. Wow, trap. Okay, I get that. So now everybody's talking about AI. So I'm saying artificial intelligence. So y'all now thinking that y'all want to be artificial. I don't understand that. So I think, I say all that to say, it's not the building, it's us. It's us, because as soon as we never, Jim, we disrupted the building. There was you rap a lot, where it was Eazy-E. Go down the list of the ones that disrupted that particular time. So there's going to come a guy. Remember when hip hop was all shiny at one point, and then DMX said, "Get at me, dog."
So then, what happens to when the algorithm doesn't get to help the next DMX? So when the algorithm doesn't help the next Jay-Z, because people are looking for the algorithm before they look for the talent.
I know, but that's when you're going to have the next Berry Gordy, the next Russell Simmons, the next Eazy-E, the next Kevin Liles. That is where it's going to come from, and that's our job to help that person. It might not be the artist, but find that person that's willing to actually go for what I played you something from a 16-year-old, and if you ask me, Kev, he got filed. I said I don't care about none of that. I said, Kev, you always been on that shit. I said, I care about how his voice sound. I remember when Fetty Wap came into the office and they were like, yo, look at his eye. I said, I don't give a fuck about Wap's eye. I said, hello, here you pretty am. That was that was the thing. I give you a personal story with you and fucking Dipset. We was, we were dropping that record and Jewels wasn't signed. I said, yo, it was a true story or not? So I'm looking at you, okay, I said, so why they ain't signing this? So I'm thinking y'all trying to pull something on me. And they say, nah, yo, Kev, it's new. He come in. I said, no, we got to get, you know what I mean? So I'm always looking for that thing that's going to disrupt. And I'm not the guy that say the people in the industry is going to ruin the industry because I disrupted the industry enough times. So I know what I have to do now is remind people what authentic is because they really don't know because they clickbaiting. They chasing that and they people, okay, but Kev, you sound like,
But it's not, it's so, all right, so.
Dig deep,
The
baby.
average executive is telling you that. They not jacking nothing else. Let me see his numbers. Let me see his analytics. You got a good. Let me see his numbers. Let me see his analytics. You can't even break the force field as an artist to even get a fucking.
You know what break the force field? That motherfucking record.
You right? Right.
Jim. So let's talk about the algorithm that you did. You know what that record was? Ballin'. At that particular time, everybody they had no idea.
Yeah, but somebody gave me a chance to work to my balling.
But you're missing what I'm trying to tell you. You created it though, I believe all that was an opportunity. And what I'm saying is that same is even more right now. Just as easy it is to be an artist, it's easy to start your company.
100%.
It's easy as Jim. Back in the day, you wouldn't be able to have 50,000 square foot just because you. What are you talking about, yo? I want to do 50. So, and by the way, there's so many people that said no, don't do it, but you believe that, and I believe them kids and them artists are about to come back. I do not believe anybody can stop God.
No, you can't.
I don't believe anybody can stop. I'll give you another example. You'll love this one. So you don't think General Motors, Ford, Toyota, all of them were talking about electric cars?
They had to.
Yeah, but why they ain't do nothing about it? But you know who did something about it? Elon. Elon said, "Okay, y'all playing with that."
Let me dive right into this.
Let me get that. By the way, didn't even start the company, but saw something called Tesla and figured out how he can make it better. Everything was created. Everything that was created like that. The big labels were a cluster of independent thinkers that they put together. So what are we talking? That's been happening for hundreds of years. So what are we talking about? I really don't believe. I will never put who I am, what I am, or why I am in the hands of what's going on. I'm going to create it. And I really believe it. And by the way, I know I sound crazy with the algorithm and all that kind of shit.
You don't.
But by the way,
because most people don't understand what you're talking about.
No, and by the way, I'm glad they don't. It's opportunity.
Because there's only a few of us that do.
Yeah, it's opportunity. If you telling me that you don't understand what it took Taylor Swift to be Taylor Swift, if you don't understand what it took Drake to be Drake, Kendrick to be Kendrick, I know. I sat at my man's funeral and saw when he was 17 what he meant to the church that his father was the pastor of. I saw how him being one of the most sexiest men alive destroyed his art in him. I'm talking about D. And I saw how, and he never would play the algorithm. The last time we did, he did on analog tape. Tape. He was. So those guys are out there. They might be in the church. They're not on the internet. That I can tell you. And so it's my job to put a crew of bandits together and find them. And I'm committed to that.
You see how so I wanted to be, not the Drake, but I wanted to be a little bit of an artist so I could be more of a Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
fly
get
like an artist. You heard? So
I
it's
get
like,
that.
but the things you're saying are the things that I'm doing. So most of the people right now are doing podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that. But people in opposition, they're getting a bag for doing podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm doing it myself. I ain't take $1 because I know they're going to give me all the money. I have the facility, I have the cameras, I have the production, I have everything. You're not going to sign me like an artist for some shit that I know how to do with my eyes closed. And I've been prepping this since I've been in Def Jam. You know what I mean? So now it's like, here's my full circle moment to every lesson that I learned inside this industry to pour into this building. And my own, we own everything. Like, I'm approaching this different. Like, I do believe that I'm gonna crack the code in a different way for the business model that I'm bringing to the game. And I bring a lot to this industry already that they try to steal from me, but I take it with a smile. This one, they can't steal from me. You know what I mean? My imprint is all over it. There's no way I'm gonna let them take this, but just listening to you talk reassures me that I'm not doing nothing wrong, that I'm not bugging out when I be like, fuck the algorithm, I am the algorithm. I could bend the algorithm when I want to. I know how to shape that motherfucker because it's nothing. It's really imagination. Like you said the first thing, like before it was algorithm, we were the algorithm.
Before there was Instagram, there was a poster you put up.
And we were Instagram before the Instagram.
Right.
You just had to be there to see it.
Before Twitter, we were all these things. This is what I'm trying to. Before we flew, we walked. You know what I mean? It's like, I just don't understand why. And by the way, I love the algorithm because it's data. That's why I said authentic intelligence. I love the information, but if everybody can talk to Gemini, talk to GTP and say, hey, this is what I need, everybody got the information, but what you gonna do with the information, homeboy? You don't know what to do with that. And by the way, your prompts are corny. You're not even asking the wrong question. You're asking what everybody asking. I'm not even asking that question. That's why I don't. The first thing I look at when looking at an executive, I can't tell you the last time I looked at a resume, might have been 84. Ask 5 or 6 questions, go hang out with them. The reason I could do that with you, because I knew that you not, first off, you weren't gonna let yourself down. Secondly, I know you weren't gonna let me down. You know, I put you in the building. I know who that motherfucker. And you had a hot record outside the building. Because motherfuckers ain't want to do what we wanted to do. You understand what I'm saying? So I knew that was the thing with you. You know what I mean? And so to me, I just, I think about these people, well, what did you do? I got to feel you. Now, I hire people I feel. I say your value is what you bring to the table. And you got to go through the process. And the moment, I remember, if you remember the moment, like everybody was, when Lear left to go to YouTube, we talked about, and everybody said, 300's over. I said, y'all must forgot. Okay, let me remind y'all about bow, get rid of, okay, let's do what we do. And so I never, and you can look at it a different way. God cleared the way so I can remind the way. You can look at it all, it's like when you talk about this building, the mistake that you will make is not believe. The mistake that you'll make is not act like you broke. The mistake that you'll make is not have the right people around you. It's not that you don't have the right vision. Everything that, come on, man, you can watch interviews where they were trying to explain the internet to night show hosts. They're trying to explain what the internet's going to be. Steve Jobs, fucking, all I'm trying to explain. Well, you gotta, your phone is going to be the remote control to your life. I believe none of that shit. So this is what I'm saying. So the algorithm is there, just like the current education system, to have people going to school to be employees. That's what the algorithm is there for. All y'all got to act this way. All y'all got to think this way. All y'all got to be this way. But it's always going to be somebody who ain't that way. And that's what we owe to the, and I'm making it my job to find those like-minded people.
And they make you feel bad. They may try to make you feel bad because you ain't that way, knowing that they wish they could be like you.
Jim, I give you. I sit on the board of Gibson guitars. And before you say what the hell you got to do with guitars, it's a businessman. You know what I mean?
You gotta get the bag, get the check, baby, bro.
It's a businessman,
big bro.
They value my perspective on. Of course, I deal with a lot of artists that play guitars and everything. They value my perspective on how I look at business, and so it's more so. It wasn't about the guitar; it was about branding, and they were going through a different phase. So I'm sitting there with people that done bought billion-dollar companies. Them took them private, public, and I'm like, I'm in awe. Like, man, I wish I knew what you gotta do. The guy stops in the middle of the meeting. He said, don't you know we all wanna be you? Because everybody can do what we do.
But they can't do what you do.
It was another moment in time that reminded me. No ego, but ego like a motherfucker. My ego is of being of service though. That's the and I can't. You even today. I tell people my idea, and I can't talk about it now. But you know, we can do it off camera. I tell them my idea and what I like the ecosystem I like to set up and things like this. You're doing too much. You're thinking about it in the wrong way. You gotta embrace the algorithm. I said. Then I guess I should go back to Baltimore and run for mayor. You know what I mean, man? You know, but even if I did that, I'm gonna be disruptive. I'm gonna buck the system. I'm gonna go
everywhere you.
No matter what, and that's the thing. Hopefully, people who listening or watching, or it is, man. We all got something in us, and the reason why most of us fail to use it is because we're scared. The reason why most of us fail to use it is because. Oh, well, that's not what they did, or this is how they do it. And we thinking now we got a bigger car or a bigger house, or we got a head did, or we got a little bit of money, that's breaking the algorithm. No. I'm not stopping until I can look and be satisfied that I done made enough executives multimillionaires and enough artists multimillionaires that it changes the neighborhoods that they're from. I can't even think about stopping. And so, to me, I hear you. I hear the same thing, but I also seen the same thing. I know. I'm not talking nothing that I haven't seen, that I haven't lived. And you know that.
I got a question. Because artists, I wouldn't say they're different from when we're all the same artists, but the lessons that are taught from the labels or the managers are not the same. Like this artist development, there's no more of that.
It doesn't, listen, okay. I just had this conversation. So you have this research kid and he says, oh, that's working on TikTok. And then immediately they go to offer it to be first, offer a lot of money. So I'm sitting in the office one day and they say, you know, we want to sign this girl, you know, she's TikTok and whatever the hell. I said, did you meet her parents? Did you go to her house? They say it's COVID. I said, I don't give a fuck. I said, so I don't do. Listen, the kid I was playing you, earlier, the father was rocking with me. I said, yo, I can't do this unless I talk to his mother. I can't do this unless I come to the house. I want to see his room. I want to see what he's doing. I want to feel, because I can't, and think about it, it's called due diligence, Jim. You can't, so it's no due diligence, because these kids, the closest thing that they'll get to rap out of the research is Rolling Loud. I want to be on the block. I gotta go touch it, because I'm investing. I'm a seed investor, and they are a micro business. And any guy who puts their money up, talk to Warren Buffett. He's analyzing, looking at, okay, the trends and that's why I said if the algorithm matters where things are going. But what I'm investing my money in, I gotta know. I knew Jim. I knew Cam. I got to know Drells. You know, I know all the artists that's ever been in my career. I walked Kelly Price down the aisle because her father wasn't there. Redman's first Benz. I go down the list. First house.
Yo, all right, so you see, I said I don't interrupt you. So Remember Pekaz? They had gave Pekaz
Yeah, the gig.
president at Def Jam. Pekaz just called me one day out the blue. He was asking me some advice, like, because he's going into a whole new direction. And I told him just what you saying here. I was like, yo, bro, to be there, you gotta be them. Like, and I don't know how they move, but I'm seeing how they move. I say, I watch Kevin Liles. If they got that new position, whatever the top artist is, they're gonna be with them every day for the next 30 days. I don't care if they got to go to Mars to be with them. They're going to make sure they learn as much as about this artist and keep this artist as close as them. So I said, so you have to go around Jeezy, all these people, and really get next to them and study them and stay next to them and learn them. And you can ask them, that was the only advice that I gave him. I said, other than that, it's not going to work. I watch Leo do that personally. I watch Kevin them do that personally. They stand so. Just to hear, like, you just reassure me for a lot of things that I've known, but it's just good to hear it, and it's good for the people to hear it also. Yeah. Because there's a new world of record business and record industry business out there, and the way that we carried our business is not carried the same way, but can be very beneficial to these artists that are moving right now.
Yeah, but the biggest thing, Jim, remember we used to complain that we couldn't get on the radio. You know, a whole Biggs Day and Jay Day's coming to my office. Yeah. Couldn't get on the radio. Okay, now we on the radio. Oh, now we on radio. Radio station. Oh, well, they're not going to give us the funding. Okay, now we got Tyler Perry. You think Tyler Perry gave a fuck about an algorithm? No. You know Spike Lee back then?
Did you hear this, Cole?
Think Spike Lee gave a fuck about an algorithm? No. You think Public Enemy gave a fuck about an algorithm? It's just, now, should we listen to information? The answer is yes. The greatest investors listen. But when you have it, nothing would be created. You wouldn't have McDonald's. So 2 arches, okay, maybe that. You wouldn't have Nike. How about this, Jim? You wouldn't have had Carl Kanai. If it wasn't Carl Kanai, there would be no Fat Farm. You go down the list of these things, and now we got shit coming. I started seeing everybody wearing Lululemon. Then they wearing some shit called Aloe. Then and I'm like, I called my man Kevin Liles. I said, Kev, it's about that time again. We got to go figure out what that next casual wear thing that we're gonna put our little taste on.
Now is the time.
Now it's not. And so this is all I'm saying. If I follow the algorithm, if I follow what everybody's saying, understand an algorithm is there to get more views for advertising.
Yes.
Radio was there to get more listeners for advertising.
But if you don't create your algorithm, the algorithm is not gonna take your algorithm to the next height. You still got to be hot. You still got to put that demand. You still got to be that person.
Yep. And guess what? Google would have been out of here if they didn't buy YouTube. Facebook might have been out of here if they didn't buy Instagram. So algorithm is also finding that next thing. Think about it. People don't compare what Google did in buying YouTube to what we did when we got Rough Riders, Dipset, Rockefeller, Murder Inc. They don't compare to that, but it's the same damn thing. I can't do what they do. I'm not them. But guess what? They value what I do, and I see I can help them do what they do. And I look at life like that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not afraid of, like we said it earlier, the day we stop moving, the day we stop running is the day you're going to see me. And I'll be like this. With my cigar and my golf club. Done.
when people ask me, and I tell you mine, that I want to hear what you have to say. Mm-hmm. People ask me, what do I want to be remembered for in life? And I tell them that I want to make sure people remember that I gave way more than I took, and I took a lot, and I'm still taking. So that's how I want to be remembered. So, but when you go, what do you want to be remembered for?
I just throw words out because that's like a deep question because once you have a son, it's raising him to be a man. Once you have 3 daughters, is making sure they understand the value of having a good man. Once you have a wife, it's ever changing. But service, I can't. I want people. I want people to know that if I was riding down the street and their tire, a woman was trying to fix a tire, I would get out to this day and fix that tire and be of service. I want, when you need to cry, that you know there's a safe place with me, no matter what it is, how it is. And the last thing, I never was really in the music business. I was in the change in life business. Jim, if you think about it, what other business can you be Brown and somebody gives you 200, 300, 400, your mom and dad might not have the money to do it. They don't have the credit to do it. You can't go get a loan for that. So we invest in these micro business, these young entrepreneurs. So you give credit to all these other people, but we done made more multimillionaires, more opportunity for people. Because guess what? If hip hop wasn't here, okay. If you ain't show us a way to get money another way, you know what I mean? So I have to take that moniker of changing lives. I joke with people. The countless amount of artists that I made multimillionaires, got a couple of billionaires now. That is one thing. I have 67 people through the 3 acquisitions that I've made, executives that are multimillionaires. I want to get to 100. So I got to do it again. I got to go figure it out and do it. So I'll say service. I would say I want to change lives. I forgot the second thing that I said, but that I want to be. And by the way, you might not like this, and some might not understand this. I don't just want to be remembered. I want to be never forgotten. Never, ever, ever. You gonna know. Because the footsteps I had to follow Russell and Rick. So I know I'm walking beside them because I know God then did that. So I know I'm destined for something great. I had a thing happen to me one time. My man called me. I'm president and said, "Yo, I'm moving to LA, and I really can't afford to. So I have to drive the U-Haul truck, but I got to get my car out there too. Would you drive to LA with me and my wife?" All right, cool. I'm driving. We get to Utah, so we're in the mountain, and the car slips and hits the rail of the mountain. Now I'm shook. I think this might be it, but it wasn't it. So I know that he got great things. And I can give you some incidents that I've been in and places I've been in that I left right before. That was God holding me and telling me that, no, I got something big for you. And then all the shit that go down. But nigga, I gotta remind you, I know you sold a company for a lot of money, but you still a nigga. And you still gotta be of service. And you still gotta go back and touch people. And you still gotta make sure that they understand why I still got you here. Never forgotten.
And that's powerful. I'm glad I got to really have this conversation with you, because we always have these conversations, and they always mean so much to me. But people don't get to hear this side of Kev. They get to hear the smart side. They get to hear the marketing side. You get up in front of a bunch of people, talk about life and business, and that's what you do. But the real Kev that I know, sit down, smoke a cigar, and just give a nigga insight on this life like niggas do, is what I wanted to have. And I think that I got it, my brother.
Listen, I think you did too. I like to thank you because sometimes it's important to just connect. And the energy I know I'm Duracell to you. I know it, but vice versa, me seeing this said to me, maybe you're not thinking big enough, Kevin. Maybe you're not thinking big enough. And what's going to happen? I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to get a call and somebody's going to say, I'm sitting here. And the guy, I said, I had to pick him up. He called me. I said, oh, you talking about the next Viacom. Yeah, I'm saying, so I constantly get reminded, and this was just another Duracell moment for us. And I appreciate it. And you were trying to get me out here. I want to apologize. No, I can give you the 20 things that the devil's working on. The devil's really working hard. But this one thing make them things look like noise. That energy make it look like noise. Because I would have never expected to be walking in $50,000 square feet of your new vision. Would never. Not that I don't believe you, not that, but that you want to go there. You want to go there. Stay true to it, my brother.
And me going there, I totally know I have to reinvent myself. Not change who I am, but reinvent myself.
It's called evolution. Jim, it's called ever-fucking-lution. There's things that if I can't smoke my cigar, if I can't play golf, if I can't be with my family, if I can't love God, then I cannot be around you. So that I have my pillars. Those things are there. But other than that, nigga, if it's raining, I'm putting an umbrella on. If it's hot outside, I'm wearing shorts. You adopt, and I say it's called evolution. And most things die when they don't evolve. Your next phase might not just be you by yourself. You might have the vision, but you might need, like Rick needed a Russell. You might need that other person because you never know what the 1 + 1 equals. Me, I don't do 1 + 1 = 2. 1 + 1 got to equal 10, or I ain't even coming outside. That's the thing. You don't have to do it by yourself. And all my guys that built all these businesses, they say, Kevin, it was 100 no's before one yes.
Yes.
Hundreds of
yes.
I'm out here now, and I'm like, I don't even understand. Y'all don't see I just did this 3 times? And I'm looking at what y'all, you know what, Kev? That's the devil talking. He worried about you worrying about them. Go to the next. Go to the next. Go to the next. I might not find, every artist that I had wasn't great. Everything that I thought about wasn't great. Every conversation you and I had, well, we had great conversations, but afterwards we didn't feel like we crossed the line in any kind of way. It was always
a respect.
Always,
no matter what.
I don't care. It's like you the guy that could punch me in my face, and I say, "Why you do that, Jim?"
I would never do that.
Not that you'll do it, but I'm just saying, like I was because I know that's not you. You know what I'm saying? I'm the guy that can call you everything in the world. You'll say, "Kev, you don't even use those. What the fuck are you doing? Is something wrong? Let me hug you." So it'll be. And so I just let's not look at it. You're not in it by yourself. There's a whole group of people. There's young. Def Jam would have died without y'all. Without Irv's loud mouth. Without Dame's loud mouth. Without DY loud. It was the next iteration of us. That's like YouTube and WhatsApp and blah this and that was.
And that's what I'm trying to do here. It's the same things we did and y'all did is the same thing I'm doing with here. Like giving new people opportunities. I don't want nothing older than me. No disrespect. There's a whole new generation that could help me take me further than I will ever be able to go and things. So it's like I'm really glad that I had this conversation. It gave me a lot of clarity on what I'm building here.
So you understand
above all.
You understand that $10,000 consultancy, yeah?
Yes.
You understand me being me? I'm up in a Ivory Tower, executive vice president of Warner Music Group by myself. I said, no, let me make him think that it's some more. Remember the elevator? You said it was a small elevator. You had to come up.
I want y'all. Kev gave me $1 million job. I don't think y'all understand. And he gave me a platinum credit or a black card. I had no limit on my card every month. I just had to write down what I was like. He put me in a position to learn a lot. And I just want to tell you I did. I did.
And also gave you the opportunity to fuck up.
Totally. Totally.
Oh, I gave you some rope. I gave you some rope.
You gave me some rope, but you bring me back.
Respect was there. Yeah, respect
you reeled
was
me
there.
back in. And I just want to tell you thank you for that. I just want to tell you thank you for coming to the building. I want to tell you thank you for being on the show. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, another episode of Artist to Artist. Give it up for Kevin Liles.
My man Jim Jones. God bless you. So Jim, you heard us doing like these collabs. You heard about Def Jam Cafe.
Yes.
All the things that we're doing. We did this big Baby Ape collab, and my man Kevin Leon was like 40.
Kev.
Yeah, it was 40 years of hip hop, and 300 was turning 10. So he was like, "Yo, it's 50 years. Oh, we got to celebrate in a way." So we've been celebrating, and I brought you one exclusive jackets. And by I'm only get that. What I think I gave Reggie one too. I think I gave Reggie one, and Jimmy. Now back in the day when we gave these out.
The Def Jam jacket.
But
if you had a Def Jam jacket,
Yeah.
I think somebody came to high school with a Def Jam jacket on, and it was a big ass problem.
By the way, very very few people you'll see with that. Because I'm treating that like blue magic.
And I am a Def Jam artist for people that don't. I am a Def Jam. Diplomats were signed to Def Jam.
Yeah, listen.
I am a Def Jam artist. I've been a Def Jam artist. You heard?
By the way, this wasn't about the label you were signed to. It was about who you represent. That's what that was about. Let's see the Jomo. Hey, yo. By the way, I'm not calling you actually. But I knew you would give me one soon. Sooner or later. I want all y'all to know. I ain't calling y'all for it. Y'all gonna see me. Y'all know.
We got to give it up.
I'm fresh. I'm fly. I got to get this.
Got to get that.
I was there. I was here. Y'all, okay, keep remembering.
You started that.
My guy.
Appreciate it, Joe.
God bless you guys.
Fire.